Hello everyone, this is Voltage Development here, and welcome back to another Unity tutorial. Now, in this tutorial, I am going to show you how to do this kind of movement. If you have ever played Slender before, then you know how the Slenderman moves towards you when you're not looking, yeah? Well, we're going to try and replicate that in this video. And it's pretty simple because we've already done the AI movement for our enemy. We've already done the movement, so we only need like a couple things and it's just basically done like that. So first of all, let's go into our AI movement script, make sure that you have that open, and the first thing that we want to do is make a new variable and let's make it public, why not? So let's do public, let's do a bool and let's call it is enemy seen, as in, can the enemy be seen by the player's camera? So now what we need to do is we need to make two more voids, as in two more functions, and the first void that we're going to create is on became visible. Now, I tried to do this tutorial like yesterday, but I messed up badly because I thought that the function that you needed to create was called on become visible, but it wasn't. It was on became visible. So now let's create another function and let's call this on became invisible. And now inside of these two functions, we need one of them to make sure that the is enemy seen. For some reason, my Visual Studio is actually lagging a lot, so that's why it's a bit late coming out. And let's do that to equal to true. Okay, so it seems like yeah, Visual Studio is really lagging out at the moment, so that is why it's a bit delayed. It's not my bad coding, it's literally just Visual Studio being super slow at the moment. I'm not entirely sure why, but now with on become invisible, we need to make is enemy seen equal to false. So what's happening is these two functions will only be called when your camera is either viewing an object or not viewing an object. So void on became visible will only be called when the object that this script is attached to can only be seen by the camera. When the camera sees this object with this script attached to it, then that function will be called. On became invisible will be called when the object that the script is attached to can no longer be seen by the player's camera. So there we go. And now inside of the update function, we are going to make an if statement and say that if is enemy, goodness sake, enemy seen. Wait, what the hell's happened here? Oh my god, my bloody keyboard has been a piece of stuff. I keep forgetting that I can't swear on this channel. Right. If enemy is seen is equal to true, so you can just leave it like that, because you don't need the equals true, you can just leave it like that. So, yeah. Now, let's do curly brackets, and don't put this statement inside of that if statement just yet. We need to create an else. Now, if you have dealt with if statements, then an if statement is, of course, if this is true, then something happens. If it's not true, then something else happens. That's what the else is. So if is enemy seen is equal to false, that's what the else means, then we can now put this statement inside of this else. But now, what we need to do is if the is enemy seen is true, we need to make sure that the enemy stops coming towards us. So to do that, you can do it a few ways, but the most efficient way in a Slenderman type way is to do it this way. So we'll do enemy dot, you know what, let's do get component because it's easier to read, you know. So get component, crocodile lips or whatever, and let's do nav mesh agent, and now brackets dot enabled equals to false. So because we are using AI and because we're using a nav mesh agent which follows the AI pathfinding thingy, when the player sees the enemy, the navigation of this enemy will be disabled so it can no longer move. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that part actually. And now with the else, so if the enemy is seen by the camera, then actually we can also add in a thing called enemy.transform.look at, and then player.transform.position. Now what this will do is it will make the enemy constantly look in your direction. That's only if we can't see the enemy. If we can see the enemy, it won't do any of this. It will completely be disabled. So let's save that and let's get back into the game. Okay, so currently we're inside of the game now and the game is laggy still. I'm not entirely sure why. Like, I feel like my computer is actually slowing down now and that it's getting a little bit harder to record the tutorials. But as you can see, our is enemy seen boolean down there is checked because our camera is currently on this cube. Now, if I walk all the way over here and look away, then the check mark is gone. Now, if I look back, he's technically not actually moving. That is strange. Hang on a minute. Okay, guys, I finally got it working, so I'm an idiot on my part. Again, with every single tutorial, I seem to be an idiot on my part, but so we're currently looking at this enemy, yeah? And just take a note at the nav mesh agent up there, and the enemy scene check mark down there. So if I back away and then look away, both of them like check off and check on. Now if I look back, like they both check on and check off, yeah? So this whole sort of Slenderman thing does actually work. So I look away, then I look back, and he's technically moving towards me. I look away. Wait, I look away? Okay, somehow I'm looking away, but I'm technically still looking at him. That's this whole like become visible function is very, very weird because apparently it takes both of your cameras, like your in-game camera and your scene camera too, and it's annoying. So yeah, you can see him. If we look away and look back, he gets closer. Look away and he gets closer. Look away and he gets closer. So yeah, you can do the Slenderman sort of movement thing. Yeah, we had our scene on this cube, so maybe that might be it. I'm not entirely sure, but let's go to our script. Now, we disabled the nav mesh agent when we're looking at the enemy, but I forgot to re-enable it when we're not looking at the enemy. So make sure if you're looking at the enemy that you disable your nav mesh agent by doing enabled false, and then when you're not looking at the enemy, you re-enable it. And also you can do the transform look at and destination stuff. But that's basically it for the Slenderman tutorial, could you call it? So yeah, that's how you make Slenderman follow you and also look at you as well. Actually, I can quickly give you a quick tutorial on like how to make sort of like something look at you, but not actually go towards you. Like, for example, you're playing a horror game and you're just looking at these things, and then you look away, and then for some reason you look back and they move. So to do that, all you need to do is let's just comment out this set destination, and now save that, and let's go back into the game. Okay, so now that we're inside of the game, yeah, let's go ahead and look at this cube. So, let's make sure that we're on its corner, and then look away. Now look back. It moved. If we go around its corner again, and then look away, look back, and it's now looking towards you again. Technically, you can't actually tell if it's actually looking towards you, but there you go. It's looking towards you, everyone. So that's how you make Slenderman move towards you when you're not looking at him, and how you make something move or look at you when you're not looking at it. So I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial, and if you're thinking about making a Slenderman game, this is a start for you. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.